Coach, obviously a big win for you guys coming off a couple losses. Do you think this is kind of the confidence that the team needed to kind of move forward?
It'll only be that confidence if we can build off of it. What we did this Saturday, I mean, first off, I want to say what an outstanding crowd. The people here were into it. It became at some points it was like a rock concert, and I was down on the stage and listened to the crowd. So it was a heck of an atmosphere, heck of a homecoming atmosphere for us to be in and play in, and it's really fun to play in those type of games when you have that type of environment. So our kids played well. We played a full game, but like I said, I think they're confident, but we just got to build on that and grow from it. It's in the past now, so we got to start moving forward. And we put it to bed this morning and started working on Eastern Mexico right about 5:45 this morning. So.
How good is it, I mean, moving forward to Eastern New Mexico to see that defense, though, step up in a big way this week?
I knew before the season started it'd take time for them to grow with different pieces we're putting in. And then we've lost some guys throughout the last couple of weeks. We got before we played Mines, I think it was we lost the safety in warm-ups, and he's still been out. We were able to get Chris Thomas back this week, an inside linebacker, and I think that really helped us a lot. And then Taylor Hickerson had been out a couple of weeks, and he finally got back to normal, and played a really good game. So getting those two guys back, especially Chris, was really instrumental in how the defense played.
Coach, in the second half, you guys, Angelo State came out and scored, and I thought that offensive response was a huge part of that game. Talk about that. I know you said we got to play complete 4 quarters.
Well, we gave up a long kickoff to start the second half, put the ball on about the 44-yard line going in. If I'm not mistaken, there was a penalty on there that I questioned, but they called it. I go down to score, and I think it missed the extra point, so it's 17-9, and I think I went to the offense and said, now you got an answer. It's time to put our foot down and let's go, and they did. And we hadn't had that in the past. We had issues either one side or the other. The ball, didn't come out and get it done. And that drive, I thought, was a good statement drive for us to come out and reestablish the game, reestablish momentum. In the past 2 games, we lost momentum, and that was a huge deal. That was the biggest thing for the tide turning in those games. I think you can tell Angelo was, trying to get a little fired up after they scored, and like they're going to do this again. And when our guys came out and answered, I think we're tired of. We only talked about it at halftime about not what Angelo had done, because if you look back in the past, Angelo had been down a couple of times. He came back and won, and for us, we talked about us finishing and how are we going to go out and finish this game. Don't worry about your opponent. Let's just go finish. And, like I said, the offense came out, answered, and it was good from there.
Speaking of momentum, early in the game, you guys blocked a punt. I know Angelo blocked or had a few blocked out this year. Is that something you thought coming in the game you would be able to do?
Yeah, they've had issues in their punt game. I think that was their 7th block kick. They'd had Coach Wagner's our special teams coach, and he schemed up a good plan to go attack it. And I don't know. I found out this morning that the ball was blocked off Eric Goodman's helmet, and I told him, I said, he's got hair growing up, it's growing inside here. I was like, thank God that helmet sits a little bit higher in your head than what normally does. But that's a true freshman going in, giving effort. He pushed the shield back and got himself in a position. And then the other thing was, I'm glad Noah Bogardus was on there, the receiver. He went up and got the ball and came down and took it to the end zone. So I think special teams, anytime you can block a punt and return it on that same play, I think you got a really good chance of winning the game, because that's such a momentum changer for you. Puts a little doubt on the other side's mind. So, that was huge for us to get. We were kind of stagnant. We gave up the first drive for a field goal, and our offense didn't do much, and then they kind of lit a fire under us.
Now you shut out Texas College start the year. Do you think this was the most complete game? All 3 phases of the team played well and scored?
Oh, absolutely. And we've talked about that. We've talked about, why we lost games. And we really think it's more of us getting our own way in the process of those games. And so I think that putting this together against a very good team, now it's a physical football game. Our guys are sore, still hurting a little bit, so we're readjusting some practice things we're doing because that game was just physical. Against a good football team, we were able to put some stuff together and like I said, confidence. Hopefully we can build on that confidence going into this week.
You kind of mentioned early this morning, looking at Eastern New Mexico. Do you already have some keys to the game?
They score more points than they do.
There you go.
They scored 50 points the other day. I mean, they're putting points on the board, and I give Coach Hyatt a great amount of compliments and respect. He came in and changed their entire offense. I mean, they were triple option, and he didn't have time really to go out and recruit guys to fit his system, and they're being successful. I mean, they're scoring a lot of points. They're moving the ball. I think their players have a lot of confidence in that system they're running and what they're doing, and I've seen improvement from week to week with what they're doing. So I think it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us to go down there and play in that stadium. I think it's going to be packed there as well, and hopefully they'll have a good crowd. But we're not good enough to think we're going to go in and beat anybody. We have to play our game and do what we do, and not make mistakes and not shoot ourselves in the foot for us to have any chance to win. So I think that we saw, not everybody, but we as a team saw what we were capable of doing when we do that. So some excitement going forward if we can build on it.
Coach, the Wagon Wheel rivalry is unique. It's very intense, especially like when you go play in Portales. So you have a team that has some veterans, but also a lot of younger guys that are playing and probably playing in their first time at Eastern New Mexico. How do you get them ready for that?
Well, we rely on the older guys. We rely on the older guys to speak about the rivalry and tell them what it's like. And, just hatred's such a harsh word to say, but there's a hatred on both sides. So I think that I rely on our older guys to teach our younger guys that. I think they hear enough from me and our coaches that it might get washed, but I never played in this rivalry. And those guys that have played in it means a whole lot more than the guy that's coached in it, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that I don't want to win. I'm glad we've had that sucker for 2 years because I don't want to lose it again. But I think if you've played in it and you've actually been in the trenches there, it means a little bit more. So I'm going to have those guys talk to them throughout the week and bring up their experiences and that kind of stuff. Eastern Mexico.
Have you talked about kind of how hungry they're going to be? They didn't get to play last year. They had their whole season wiped out with COVID, so they're going to be really hungry for that.
Well, I think it goes to Coach Hyatt and the coach and his coaching staff. And, they didn't play last year. Regardless of for whatever reason, New Mexico had some different rules than Texas did with COVID and how you did things. But they fought through adversity. And going through that, not playing, and them coming out the way they are with the new coach coming in as late as he did this summer. I mean, my credit to them for the way they're playing and the way they're doing things. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised as the year went on to see how well they were doing. Because all those factors were stacked up against them. So, when you see success after all that kind of stuff, you know that the coach is doing things right over there. The players are doing things right, and this is their biggest game right now. I don't know if it'll be the biggest game of the year. We'll see how it goes, but I know it's highlighted in their schedule every year. So I think they got empty wall over there. They're waiting to hang that wheel back on, and I'm just going to make sure do what I can to keep it empty again another 365 days. So.